He can bow out at this time with grace and dignity. He has a record he can be proud of. But what I will say this, I think it's really ironic that we're the only party talking about needing to replace our nominee. I think it's really ironic that the party that should be pressuring their candidate to step aside is the Republican Party. Their nominee is a convicted felon. He's facing hundreds of charges for criminal activity and has been proven to be a racist, a business fraud, liable for sexual abuse, an insurrectionist, and as Biden said, he has the morals of an alley cat. Republicans need to be holding him accountable. The majority of the party, which has been cowardly and feckless and complicit and enabling in allowing Trump's racism, bullying, his demagoguery, misogyny. Why are we, as Democrats, those of us that are Democrats, calling for our nominee to change?
Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of The View are freaking out over last night's presidential debate. Even the most notorious liars, even the people who spin every single situation to seem like, you know, Joe Biden, it's in Joe Biden's favor, Joe Biden destroyed Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. The people who are obviously on Joe Biden's payroll in some sort of way. Like, come on, it's so obvious. There's no way they would defend this guy as much as they do and go after Trump as hard as they do unless there's some way only on the air because of Joe Biden or Joe Biden's regime in some way. Even like when Charlemagne the God goes on their show and he doesn't endorse Biden publicly, they're pressuring him and they're questioning him and they're pushing him to endorse Biden. Why are they acting like they're not just a random talk show? Like, why are they acting like they're some political activist talk show? They're supposed to be for old, miserable women to watch. And they're so obsessed with pushing this agenda of Joe Biden is better than Donald Trump. And even they, The View, can't even spin this one into a positive. They are freaking out. They're in full-on panic mode, and it's getting worse and worse, dude. It's getting more insane every single time I play one of these clips and these videos. Let's check out this clip here from The View. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of them freaking out over the presidential debate.
Well, glad somebody's happy and enthusiastic today. I think they're on medication. Whatever.
Because most of us are mourning.
Mourning, yes. Well, let's not get too depressed yet.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that you all saw last night the debates, right? President Biden and Donald Trump went head-to-head in their first 2024 presidential debate on CNN. And while Biden raised concerns with a hoarse, occasionally weak delivery, Trump lied dozens of times in a nice, clear voice. Take a look.
Dealing with everything we have.
By the way, why do they act like Trump is the only one who lied? Of course, every single politician in these debates is going to lie and say, oh, this didn't happen whenever certain things did happen, or this person endorsed me whenever they didn't endorse them, or whatever. They're going to say things like that, right? That's what these debates are all about. That's honestly what being a politician is all about. But like, why act like Trump is the only one who lied whenever Joe Biden said on this stage, in this debate that The View is playing, that the Border Patrol endorsed him, and then the Border Patrol tweets this out. To be clear, we have never and will never endorse Biden. This is from the official Border Patrol Union Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it. This is bad, dude. That is really bad. 427,000 likes, 29 million views on Twitter. Everybody saw them just destroy Joe Biden for those lies. Anyway, let's get into these clips that even The View can't spin into a positive light, and then we'll get into what they think of this whole thing.
It have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think.
What did he say? Did he say more Border Patrol and more asylum officers? I'm not sure what that means, if that's what he was saying, but this is just sad, guys. Like, does anybody else, like, am I just like a super empathetic person? I don't know. Like, does anybody else just feel really sad watching this? Like, yeah, the guy has done bad stuff for the country. The country's in a really, really bad spot right now, directly because of his, presence in the White House for sure. But is it really his fault? Like, the guy can't even read off a teleprompter. He can't stand on stage without pooping his pants. And it's funny and everything for sure. But at the same time, it's really sad. And it like, I know people joke about it, but it is like elder abuse at this point. Like, he's a puppet. He's very obviously a puppet for somebody or multiple people. And that should be looked into. Like, it needs to be looked into. This is elder abuse, like, straight up.
I think he knows what he said either.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
When he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon.
Having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about?
The funniest part about this is whenever he says, the thing about the corn star, Trump is like shaking his head no. And then he's like, whenever your wife is pregnant, he's like, oh yeah, she was pregnant. watch Donald Trump's face whenever that's brought up.
While your wife was pregnant. I mean, what
she was pregnant.
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't
Come on, man. That's a bunch of malarkey, man.
have sex with a porn star. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago.
I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
Let's not act like children.
Oh, says the adolescent moron. Calls people names. He's a toddler. What was going on through your head as you watched this?
I thought Trump was actually pretty tame in this debate. Like, I think Trump also feels bad for Biden. Like, I think Trump is like, yeah, I want to win, but at the same time, like, this is sad. This thing that's standing next to me right now is a shell of a human, and he is being completely exploited in order to push someone's agenda. And this is sad. Because Trump, like, whenever he was going against Hillary, some other debates, I don't know if Trump has just gotten more tame as time went on, as he aged even more, or if he genuinely feels bad for Biden and doesn't want to call him like funny names and stuff like that, because it's just sad. Like, it just straight up is sad. The guy's being abused enough by his handlers, and to add on to it, I don't think Trump needs to come up with funny names or anything. Just Joe Biden being on the stage and attempting to debate someone is sad enough as it is, to the point where, like, anybody with a brain out there can see you probably shouldn't vote for this dude. Like, it's just sad at this point. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Trump's just becoming more tame as time goes on, or does he feel bad for Biden?
Last night.
It was really hard to watch, and it kind of pains me to say this today, but I think President Biden needs to step down and be replaced.
You do?
If we want to defeat Donald Trump in November, I absolutely think that. And I think Biden's team saw it coming. I think that's why they pushed for an earlier debate, so they'd have time to change course if needed. But they've got to act fast, and I would implore those closest with the president to have the very hard conversations they're going to need to have, and not just for political ramifications, for humanity, for his integrity, and for his legacy, which, I mean, that's all on the line right now. And
if you enjoy content like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Democrats need to stop spinning the age problem. We have sat here, and Alyssa has repeatedly brought up that a lot of people are concerned with his age. And over, Democrats have twisted themselves into a pretzel to say, don't believe your lying eyes, it's not true. And even at this table, we've said, look, Joy's 81. Joy Behar at 81.
Must we keep repeating that?
Sorry. Joy Behar at 81
But I am.
is not Joe Biden at 81.
No.
And that was on full display last night. But let me be clear. If November comes and President Biden and President Trump are on the ticket, I will 100% be voting for President Biden, because the alternative is too scary for me. But I fear that many people in this country do not feel the same way.
So I was genuinely in shock last night watching this, even though I've had concerns.
What did these people expect to happen? I don't understand. Like, they must have really thought that the U.S. government just created some magic pill that can turn back someone's mental age or something just for this one debate. Like, as much as people were saying, like, he's going to be on adrenaline and cocaine and all these different drugs and stuff, there's only so much you can do for someone who is just deteriorated mentally. Like, he's not there. He's borderline a shell of a human. I don't understand what these people thought were going to happen. We've seen the man poop himself multiple times on TV, wander off and lose where he's going on stage, fall walking upstairs multiple times, and read off a teleprompter and read the word pause and not even be able to read sentences off the same teleprompter. I don't understand what these people thought were going to happen whenever he's going to head in a live setting with Donald Trump. Come on, come on. There's no way they were shocked at this.
Concerns for a couple of years about Biden's age. It was stunningly worse than I expected, the performance. I think within the first 90 seconds, it was kind of baked in. And I think a lot of people tuned out some of the later part of the debates. And I want to be clear, Donald Trump was a mess. He lied his way through it, but Joe Biden's performance was so bad that it eclipsed everything that Donald Trump said. And his
say that again?
It eclipsed the performance of Donald Trump because the distraction was on Joe Biden's performance. But here's the thing, Biden has...
I would like for them to talk about what Donald Trump lied about as well. Like, they keep saying he lied dozens of times, and yet all the clips that they've shown, I don't know if they show anymore. It doesn't look like, maybe they show a couple more. All the clips that they've shown were of Joe Biden stuttering and just blanking out mid-sentence. None of them were of Donald Trump's lies that they keep saying there were dozens of them. Well, where were they? Because, like I said, yeah, there's little lies told throughout all of these debates, of course. But where are these huge dozens of lies that they're talking about? They didn't play any of them.
Been running on Donald Trump as a threat to democracy. He's a threat to our values. I agree with him on that. Donald Trump is a threat to American democracy. We need someone who can beat him. And so I think I've been told for a long time, put country before party and support Joe Biden.
Right.
He needs to put country before his own ambition, and he needs to step aside and pass the baton. Because I'm telling you right now, Trump world is scared when they're hearing rumblings that there could be someone else on the ticket. They know that any other Democrat will wipe the floor with Donald Trump. Mark my words, if it's Trump versus Biden, Trump is going to
But we only have 40 days.
Look, I think...
to the convention, but you have 130 to the election.
Look, I think what we saw was that Biden lost that debate. I think that is an accurate depiction of what happened. Blame it on a cold, blame it on his stuttering, blame it on over-preparation, whatever. But he did.
Yes, Sonny. It was a cold and over-preparation that lost the debate for Joe Biden, for sure. It's not just the fact that the guy is just gone mentally. Like, am I going insane? I understand why people who can watch The View, why they believe what they believe, because they just say this craziness, it's insane what they're saying, and they say it like it's so natural just coming out of their mouth. Like, they say it with a complete straight face, and there's other people across the table saying, yes, I agree 100%. Donald Trump did lie dozens of times, even though we can't name a single one. Yes, it probably was just over preparation, and the fact that he had a cold. That's why the guy's brain hasn't worked for the last 4 years. He had a cold tonight, and it's just I don't understand, dude.
Did lose. Maybe he needs to go. Maybe he needs to be honest with himself and the American people. He can bow out at this time with grace and dignity. He has a record he can be proud of. But what I will say this, I think it's really ironic that we're the only party talking about needing to replace our nominee. I think it's really ironic that the party that should be pressuring their candidate to step aside is the Republican Party. Their nominee is a convicted felon. He's facing hundreds of charges for criminal activity and has been proven to be a racist, a business fraud, liable for sexual abuse, an insurrectionist. And as Biden said, he has the morals of an alley cat. Republicans need to be holding him accountable. The majority of the party, which has been cowardly and feckless and complicit and enabling in allowing Trump's racism, bullying, his demagoguery, misogyny. Why are we, as Democrats, those of us that are Democrats, calling for our nominee to change?
Because he's losing.
Do these people not realize that if Donald Trump was a part of the establishment, he would not have been a convicted felon? And if any U.S. president of my lifetime, at least, but probably even before that, if they weren't part of the establishment, they would be a convicted felon, or they would be dead, just like JFK. We've had examples, multiple of them, maybe not all U.S. presidents, but other people within the Kennedy family, multiple families who have been around politics, who they have weaponized the DOJ against them. We think of people like Edward Snowden, So, like, if you're not a part of the establishment, if you're not in the club with the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas, and these sorts of people, you're going to be put in jail or you're going to die. Like, that's what they're going to try to do to you if you actually threaten them, if you actually threaten them with winning. That's what happened to Trump. These people I refuse to believe that they don't realize this. They know this. If they actually think about this logically, and if anybody sat down in front of them and debated them, like I'm no master debater or anything. I'm no genius. I'm just someone with common sense that has a microphone. Okay. And if I sat down in front of these people, I'm off camera. I'm willing to bet that I could convince them to acknowledge that what I'm saying is truth, just by common sense. Every U.S. president of my lifetime, if they were under the same microscope scrutiny and also not part of the establishment, would also be a convicted felon. No questions about it, or dead. If they were in Donald Trump's position, if they were not part of the establishment like Donald Trump. So the convicted felon thing is just a bunch of nonsense. The racism thing, every single time somebody says Trump's racist, I ask them to please show me some proof. There's no proof. I mean, there's so much proof that Joe Biden is a racist. I think he gave the eulogy at KKK members, or the leader of the KKK or something like that, funeral. So, I mean, come on. that guy's probably the most racist president that we've had in a long time. All these other things, insurrectionists, it's just bored, tired talking points, dude.
No, but I'll tell you. I'll answer that. And I've always said to you that Republicans and Democrats are cut from a different cloth.
Yes. Yeah.
Democrats are exquisite. They're precious. They're idealists. Look, I've known Joe Biden, and I love Joe Biden. And I've known Joe Biden for over 20 years. I've never seen Joe Biden like I saw him last night. Sure. It is worrisome. But to me, the binary, until Joe Biden tells me he's giving up, I'm not giving up on Joe Biden. And so, to me, the binary choice remains the same. He looked elderly yesterday. He sounded elderly. He is elderly. But the choice is no different. It is a very old man versus a
threat to democracy. Yeah. We get it. I don't understand. Like, this is what people go to whenever they have nothing. Like, notice how the right wing Donald Trump supporters, they're saying, the immigration thing is a problem. The foreign aid thing's a problem. All these wars that are breaking out across the world is a problem. The crime rate's a problem. All these things. Inflation's a problem. What did the Biden supporters say about Trump? Oh, he's a threat to democracy and a convicted felon. Literally nothing that has anything to do with anything about American lives, about my life, about your life. Nothing. Who cares if the guy is a threat to democracy when there's literally no proof that he is? Who cares if the guy's a convicted felon or a misogynist or a racist? Even if he is all these things that he's definitely not, by the way, and there's no proof that he is. Even if he is all of these things, what does that have to do with immigration and crime rates and all these things? Why does a guy have to be the perfect, a absolutely perfect citizen who has never said anything that everybody says in, Call of Duty lobbies and locker rooms and stuff like that? Why does the president have to be those things? Why can't the president just be the best person to better the country? But those people don't care about that. They just care about their side winning, and I believe that they're paid off. So they're going to make up all these things like he's a threat to democracy, he's a racist, misogynist, istophobe, and it's like, okay, but what about all of the other things that are actual issues within the United States that you refuse to address because your president has not fixed any of them? In fact, he's created a lot of them. And then Biden will say things like, if I get reelected, I will reinstate Roe v. Wade. And it's like, dude, you're elected right now. Why are you not doing that right now if you're so confident you're going to do that? Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about The View panicking. All these people are panicking, man. They're seeing the writing on the wall. I just hope there's nothing nefarious that happens with the next election and things just go the way that they're supposed to go, whichever way that is. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about the debate, about The View's reaction, about all these leftist reactions and all of them freaking out about the results of this Trump versus Biden presidential debate.